Welcome back to GearHeadGeeks, where in this video we're going to be finishing up the rear frame loop. We've already done the seat in the previous video, so now that the seat has got its basic shape, we can go on ahead and build the rear frame loop, cut off all the extra stuff, weld it all in, and get it ready to go. So we will go right on to that, and here we go. So one of the first things we need to do is trim down this seat before we can start making, before we can put on the rear frame loop, or at least finding out exactly where it needs to sit. So we're going to trim this down. We got a nice line inside here where we put the gel coat, and we'll get that all cleaned up to a point anyway, and then we'll be able to put this on the frame and start figuring out where we need to cut things off and what we need to do. So here we go. A nice fit to it, it'll look good. There's going to be a little bit more work on this. We got to get it shaped right, but it's got the basic shape. What I did is I heated it up here a little bit, and from the original, bent it in, and then heated it up on these edges and bent them back out to give me a shape that is more in tune with this. And let's see if I can give an idea here. So as you can see, here's the rear frame loop. Get my hand out of the way, and then here's how it's going to look basically from the top. Going to have it's a pretty good estimation of how it's going to fit there. Okay, so we're going to be doing some grinding and cutting. So we're going to be cutting off pretty much everything from here back on both sides. There's going to be some more cutting inside of here until when we figure out what it is. We'll grind off all these extra brackets that are sitting here and holding things in place. And with this all off, it'll be a lot easier to work with. So grinding we will go. Okay, now we've got things cut off, and we're ready to go on ahead and get our frame loop kind of marked out where we need to cut it off. And we'll be cutting it off really close to where it needs to be, right around in here. We'll do that on both sides, and then we'll get it kind of bent the way it needs to go. And we'll be really close to where we need. Now I left this part of the frame brace on there. What I'll do here is once this is on, I'll take this and trim it and bend it up and weld it in so it'll be one nice piece just like it was from the factory. So here we go. This is about the length I want right there, and we are going to cut this guy about like that. Need to make sure that this is where we want it, because I think this needs to come back a bit. That's for sure. So this is Actually, this is almost... Yep. This ended up being just about perfect for what we needed. You can see it just fits right in there perfectly. Got about the right amount here. Can make a little bit of adjustments back and forth here, but that's what we need. So this is going to end up getting tacked in place, and then we'll level it all out, and then we're going to work on getting this kind of sliced in the back over here. We'll leave this face as close as we can to not being cut, and then bring this back up, and it'll kind of come in a little bit, and that should weld onto that very nicely. Yeah, it's working out quite well at the moment. Just have to do some adjusting here and there, but it'll work out great. It fits perfectly. You just got to get the right angle here, and it looks like I've got it pretty well cut. So pretty good shape at the moment. We're tacked in. We've got enough weld on there. We're going to do some grinding. We need to, this needs to be altered so that it will go up against that, and I'm going to look and see what it's going to take. So it's going to take a little bit of work, but our rear frame rail is on, and it is looking perfect. Pops right on here, and it's going to sit just about like that, a little bit higher. That looks absolutely perfect to me. We can take this and So the next thing we're going to need is a piece of steel in here to let the seat rest on. So it is going to be even with the top of this. The seat's just going to rest on it, and that's going to be it. Again, it's going to have some sort of hooking system here, and then it will use the stock seat latch to latch it down in. So I think we'll take a piece of this, which should be about right, and we'll cut it. Nice little piece that's going to fit in here, and we can weld that on as soon as we're ready. And that looks like it. Go down, and that's what the frame loop needs to look like. It has to happen. We've got our perch, and that does it for this video. We've got the rear frame loop all welded in. The seat base has been cut so it's in its basic form. It's sitting there in a solid way. It looks fantastic. It's we will be grinding a little bit more on the frame and doing a little bit of filling and doing some touch-up. But right now all the bracketing is welded in, the frame loop is welded on, and it looks just great.